A beautiful morning to you, dear viewer. Thank you for joining us on the TGIF edition of Morning Spring Western Spring Television. This is where we serve you the headlines, making the faces of the dailies every day, and then bringing you quality analysis from the mouths of our analysts. My name is Temitope Ajijola Oluwala, welcoming you super delightedly to this particular installment. It's the last for the week. There's been an array of issues throughout the week, and here we are at the last installment for the week. Welcome aboard. Femi, good morning.
Good morning. Of course, it's good to be back here.
Yeah.
Rounding it off for the week. Quite an eventful week it has been. It will always be. One day, one issue.
Yeah.
I mean, one issue. In fact, one day, multiple issues at times. And that is why we're here. Not just to let you know about these issues, but to speak about them, identifying what these issues are, and of course, providing solutions while we speak with critical stakeholders. We start by looking through the pages of the newspapers, especially its front pages, headlines, for you to really be informed properly about happenings, events, and, situations around you. And of course, at the other side of that, we then get talking, and that is exactly what we're going to do in a very interesting way today. Femi Ojo is my name. It's my great pleasure to be back. As Dr. said, it's the TGIF edition of this program. Good morning, and of course, the papers are here. So much to let you know, and so much to let you into at this time. It is what it is, as they usually say, and so much. We are live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television NG. Yeah, Western Spring Television NG. And of course, on our Facebook page at Western Spring Television. Other social media handles as well. And of course, on channel 190 in StarTimes DTT, we are here. Yesterday was the day set aside to celebrate the fallen heroes, actually Armed Forces Remembrance Day, 15th of January every year. It has been set aside.
Yeah, several pictures from different quarters. I mean, we saw where the Vice President Shatima was having this heroic march, to honor the fallen heroes, yesterday.
And the lane of
and
wreath.
then the wreath laying ceremony also took place. We also saw our own governor here, Governor Ademola Adeleke, also honoring the fallen heroes as well. It's quite a time where we are reminded of the great sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice that these soldiers, they put into their work. And as much as we remember them every day, we honor them every day, that is a day set aside to really reflect on how deeply they are integral to the peace that we enjoy every day, to the sanctity of our nation, and then to also commiserate with the family members that are left behind, when they are gone. And it's also a time to deliberate on how well they are rewarded here on earth. It's not only in heaven. Here on earth, with benefits, that are being accrued to them over time. And then are their family members really taken care of? Those are the questions, around this period. Not just to say that we remember you, but to also say that the families you have left, they are now our families. The Nigerian state should take care of them.
They should take care of them. And of course, well said, that is it. Not just only setting out a day to, lay wreath and do march past and do a salute, release those and all of those things, which is good, but more importantly, the welfare. Even those that are still in service, actually, and those that are retired but not dead, actually. So how are they being taken care of? They are veterans. That's what they are called. And by all means necessary, they should be taken care of by the Nigerian state. We'll look into all of that in the course of the program today, and of course, the experience that those that are still alive can bring the retired ones, to bear, especially in this fight against insecurity, where we are seeing repentant bandits, whoever they are, whatever they are called, those that are said to have armed the same people at the same point, killed the same soldiers at some point, now being forgiven by the Nigerian state, while the families of the deceased are there looking at them.
And some, I mean, it was last year when we're having a conversation with one of the wives of the fallen heroes, and she was lamenting. She's the head of, you know, the welfare of the wives of, you know, fallen heroes like that here in Osun State. And then she was lamenting the fact that some of these people, 10 years more than, you know, ago, that their husbands, their spouses have died, and they've not got what they are supposed to get, the benefits of their spouses and all of those. And then, you know, it was really, really heartbreaking for her that she would have to, from her own purse, even as a widow herself, help out some other widows. It was lamentable. And I hope that, you know, between last year and now, something better has been done. And if it hasn't, let's keep the conversation on so that we can always put it in the minds of our leaders that those people deserve to be taken care of. And if their benefits have not been given to them, how do we move past that to looking for other ways to honor these people, like free education for their children or scholarship, you know, opportunities and all of those set aside specifically for these people, a quota, you know, given to them. So those are the expansions we should be saying in conversations around, you know, honoring them beyond wreath laying and all of those.
And I try to just round it off from my end by saying the way those that are retired are being taken care of, the way that the fallen heroes' families are being taken care of is a cue to those that are still in service. For them to know see if it's a career that is worth, if they have not really made a mistake with their career. Actually, and the kind of encouragement they need to put, and how the feeling that they have that the employers, the Nigerian state, the Nigerian people really value what they do. And that's quite important, because if you see what has happened to people of the past and you're in the same line, and you are seeing that it's a pattern, it can make you to make or mar you. Some might, you know, say, yeah, this is, I've not made a mistake. And some might say, possibly might just have to change my mind at some point, because while the passion is there, while the goal is to secure the people and the Nigerian state, you can't do that on empty stomach, actually. Not just for you. You can't watch your children suffer. And you know that kind of work you are doing is the one that you could go out in it and you might not return. It's the one that you don't even need to go out before an ambush might happen to you. And that's the end, actually. So while you are gone, who fight for you, who speak on your matter, and for your family, and many things around that. We look into all of these as well. And of course, well, don't let us let all of the cards out of the bag right now. We take a pause. When we return, we'll let you into the headlines of major dailies today here on Morning Spring. Thank God it's Friday edition. We talk with an eye. All right, it's Friday. You might want to do us the honors.
All right, so let's begin to check out the faces of some of the dailies available right here. We begin with The Guardian. Very, very comprehensive page right there. We begin with the Guardian newspaper this morning. The banner headline says, how 300% cost spike, drug rationing turned diabetes to death threat. It's even there on The Guardian, big story on pages 4 and 5. How 300% cost spike, drug rationing turned diabetes to death threat. And you can see some of the stats reels out there. Diabetes contributes to over 3.4 million deaths yearly, with more than half of the population without access to medication. International Diabetes Federation, that's IDF, projects the epidemic to reach 853 million by 2050. 75% of diabetes sufferers live in low and middle-income countries. Over 11.4 million Nigerians are diagnosed battling diabetes. Only a third of those diagnosed receive proper treatment. 34.5% of patients with diabetic foot ulcers lose legs in Nigeria, compared to 0.1% overseas. Well, that's a great disparity right there. Diabetes kills about 30,000 to 40,000 Nigerians yearly. Cost of medication spiked between 300 to 500% in 3 years. You can see how weighty those statistics are. We move below that to armed forces. This one, armed forces resolute against terrorism, says CDS, amid poses about Tinubu's absence. NESG projects 5.5% growth, 16% inflation in 2026, once against policy reversals. And right here, US sanctions, foreign airlines battle drop in passenger traffic. Below that particular one, Fubara's impeachment stalls as lawmakers fail to reconvene. Federal government ASU deal promises improved post-service welfare for academic staff. Right, and right there below to the bottom strip, article Sun dumps PDP for APC. Backs Tinubu's second term. Quite interesting. Below the nameplate and above to the top strip of the paper, Kanu governor, deputy part ways over defection. Alleged 110.4 billion naira fraud. EFCC tenders fresh bank records against Yaya Bello. Others. More banks meet recapitalization threshold as Tali exits 20. That's on business page 18 right there with a picture of the CBN governor on Layemi Cardoso right there. And those headlines coming through the Guardian newspaper this morning.
All right, from the Guardian newspaper, let's see the Tribune. The Tribune newspaper, relief for exporters, importers, banks as Nigeria exits EU financial high-risk list. Relief for exporters, importers, banks as Nigeria exits EU financial high-risk list. Worth riders, national economy to grow by 4.7%. Finance Minister says country has shifted from stabilization to consolidation. Says country has shifted from stabilization to consolidation. Headline inflation eased to 15.50% in December 2025. That's attributed to the NBS, Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, or National Bureau of Statistics rather. Headline inflation eased to 15.50% in December 2025 NBS, and below that, the Vice President laying, a wreath during the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration in Abuja on Thursday. And some might be saying, where's Mr. President? Why is he not laying a wreath?
Yeah.
He's out of the country, actually. So the most senior person is the Vice President doing that. Right. Shetima, Apabio, governors, service chiefs, others, honored fallen heroes. Shetima, Apabio, governors, service chiefs, others, honored fallen heroes. ADC raises concern over President's absence. ADC raises concern over President's absence. So, well, as they say around here, one person cannot be in two places at the same time. So, but then going deeper into those questions, and not just because it's the ADC, one would have said, in as much is quite a big deal actually, and for Remembrance Day, especially the 15th. It's actually, there is an activity that takes like a month actually, and of course the finale is always start 15. One would have said, if the president find it worthy, maybe a schedule, an itinerary will have been, factor, or this particular day should have been factored into his itinerary and his schedule, that wherever he is, he should be, around to do this at this time. And I saw, everything matters in Nigeria. I saw one of those SAs to the late President Buhari, Bashir Ahmed, on X, made a post, although you might not want to read any meaning to it, but what he said exactly was, for the 8 years of Buhari in power, he was always available every 15th of January to lay that particular rate. And, make of that information whatever you want, especially if it's coming from politically exposed persons. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
One might want to cut Buhari some slack and say, okay, he was a military man himself. Maybe he understands it. He has been at the highest level of the military before as a military, head of state, and now as a president. But that is not as an excuse. But some will still say, in as much, just speaking randomly, in as much the president is still in the business of the state somewhere else, maybe it's not a biggie.
He is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
And he delegates duties as well.
You don't delegate something like that. You will be there as the commander-in-chief. You don't delegate that particular role. So you shouldn't delegate whatever it is that comes from that office either. You'll be there as the father of the nation. You don't have to be a military person to understand the word sacrifice. He himself has been through loss, and he knows what it takes to lose someone. And then not just losing a person, but losing from the point of duty, from the call of duty. That in itself is worth anything. Now, you can take your travels. Of course, you can go on whatever trip. But that day, you should be back in the country ahead of the day. And you can take off immediately after the wreath-laying ceremony and go. People would understand. Even if it's for a show, people would see what gravity that is. And probably people wouldn't understand, the weight of this particular day, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. We'll take their cue, really, from the president and say, yes, these people are worth, the one-day celebration. I mean, you're not there all through the others that they've been doing and all of those, but that particular day, the president should make himself available. So whoever posts whatever, for whatever reason, I think that the person is sending a very strong message that we should take.
All right. Fair enough. Well, it's just a reality. He wasn't available. He wasn't available.
Yeah.
That's just it. Even though he's still, in the business of the state, according to his schedule. Actually, maybe he take a cue next time and do exactly better. Even though as a president, that's why you have a vice. You can always delegate. But then, a day as important as that, actually, it will mean a lot, especially to the families of those that are the country is celebrating. All right, moving on. Okpadokun's gun hegemony rekindles debate on federalism democracy. Okpadokun's gun hegemony rekindles debate on federalism and democracy. All right, on the health scene, exercise like medicines can ease depression symptoms. That's from a study. Exercise like medicines can ease depression symptoms. That's from a study. You might want to pick up that paper and see how that works. Alaafin absent as Olubado emerges chairman or your council of obas and chiefs. Why the giggling?
Interesting time.
Alaafin absent as Olubado emerges chairman or your council of obas and chiefs. Makinde revives council 15 years after. All right, it's been quite some interesting news coming from the traditional institution in your state. By expansion, the Yoruba land for some time, but in less than a week, it's been some kind of news from Oyo State, actually, less than 7 days. First, it was an Oyo State function in which the Oba, one Oba was said to have snubbed the other, in this case. Now, the same set of people And the government, I saw the video yesterday during inauguration in which the governor said he consulted the three foremost obas that there is a convention of rotating the chairmanship, of the obas and traditional rulers in Oyo State. That it would be between the Alafin of Oyo, the Olubadan of Ibadan, and the Shon of Ogbomoso. And that was what it used to be. And then there was an issue, I think, years ago. And then I think that arrangement was jettisoned. And, whatever happened. And 15 years later, Governor Seyi Makinde took it up. And according to him yesterday, he said, consulted the three obas. He said, I consulted my fathers on how to go about this matter. And he said all of them, the three of them, agreed that they should start or restart the arrangement with the Olubadan of Ibadan as the chairman of the Obas Council in Ibadan. And of course, he inaugurated that. But, just before evening yesterday, there was a press release from the Alafin's palace that wasn't true. By the way, the Obashon, Oba Gandhi Olaoye was there. The Olubadan Obaladoja, the new chairman, was there. The Alafin of Oyo, Oba Kim Owade, was absent at that meeting. And then there was a statement from his camp by his director of media, Pabode Jurojaye, and they released that wasn't true, that there was not any meeting convened by Governor Seyi Makinde in which they agreed that the Olubadan should be the chairman in this new arrangement again. In fact, that there was no consultation.
That's what I was about to say. So if there was no consultation.
So that, anyway, that was from the Olubadan's camp. But then I saw another press, the Alafin's camp. I saw another press release from, a post from Obashon, Oba Gandhi Olaoye, who talked about the celebration. He said, I was at that place with my monarch brothers and all of those things, and it's a new season and all of those things. Oba Gandhi seems not to have an issue with that. So Governor Seyi Makinde said he consulted all of them. He had an agreement with them to have Obaladoja as the new chairman. The Alafin has refuted that to say there wasn't any consultation.
Now, if there was no consultation, was there an invite at least?
What?
If there was no consultation, was there an invite at least?
Invite for what? For the event?
Yes, for the event.
I wouldn't say that, but definitely you expect that there will be.
Exactly.
That's an high-profile event.
We would think that there would have been an invitation to that, to that particular event. So why don't we speak on, I'm talking about the release, that statement, the press release. Why don't we speak to, the invite? Why don't we speak to the fact that you were absent? I mean, the governor could just wake up and also say that, okay, after deliberations with my own cabinet, we came up with the fact that Olubadan at this time.
You couldn't have woke up that it doesn't work.
But I think that Oyo again, the traditional
institution
powers and institution of Oyo are also in the news again. In the same, week. Yes, we had the first, conversation about that.
That's what I said.
This week.
Less than a week.
And in the same week, we're having another thing coming from there, talking about absence, again. We don't know what will happen next week. We hope that we have a statement saying that, we've resolved our differences.
Okay. Let me take a part, although we are still within, possibly, it's Friday, we have some time. The palace hereby wants to state clearly that there was no time that His Imperial Majesty, the Alafin of Oyo, Ba Engineer Abimbola Akim Owade, the first, held any meeting with either the state governor or any of the two traditional rulers mentioned above. Also, the Alafin did not tell the governor or make a categorical statement on his endorsement of rotational chairmanship among the three traditional rulers in the state. The position of the Alafin and the entire Oyo community on the general issue of the State Council of Obas and Chiefs has been enunciated in a memo delivered to His Excellency by the Oyo Council of Elders. So it's more like, whatever you guys are saying, and toss out. Meaning, I didn't speak to any of my Oba colleagues about rotational, or there was any categorical statement, and the state government, we didn't have any no consultation at all according to this particular thing. But very interesting is the signing, Bodedro Jai, Director of Media and Publicity to the Alaafin, paramount ruler of Oyo Kingdom. Fair enough, right? And the superior head of Yoruba land. Let's continue with the paper.
All right. Okay, let's check out the face of Daily Trust's paper right here. Daily Trust says, as the banner headline, Tinubu away as nation honors fallen heroes. Well, that's quite an angle that Daily Trust is bringing to the reportage of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. You can see pictures right there. You can see soldiers, their heads right there, you know, holding the wreaths that were going to be laid. Let's check it out. It says the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day and wreath laying ceremony across states yesterday. You can see where the honorary gun shots were also given. See photos from Government House, Yobe, Lagos, Enugu, Rivers, and States House. All right, moving away from that story to just below it, Nigeria's economy unstable yet. Nigeria's economy unstable yet. That's according to World Bank and the International Monetary Fund right there. Our struggles after service. Our struggles after service, war veterans. You can check that particular story out there on page 5. Inflation drops to 15.15% in December. That's on page 26 of Daily Trust's paper. Atiku's son dumps PDP for APC. And now below the nameplates to the top strip of the paper, ACF, NEF, others decry notes leadership decline. Federal government warns states against peace deals with bandits. Right here. Those are the headlines coming through Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
Right. That will be the size of this segment. We take a quick break. When we return, we speak to issues. Stay with us.